Rocky 3. So let's jump right into Rocky 3. I'll give you a little synopsis of this movie. It takes place, a little bit after Rocky 2. Rocky's been the champion for a while now. He's had 10 title defenses. He hasn't really had a real challenge. A bit overconfident. Doesn't have the desire or the heart anymore really to defend against a real good challenge anyway. Mick has known this and has kind of, I think, maybe fed him some opponents he knew were safe because he knew Rocky's desire really wasn't there anymore, basically. So, and then you have the character Clubber Lang, who is played by Mr. T, who comes in as the #1 contender. Rocky, in a ceremony, is presented with the giant statue that's in Philadelphia, and basically challenges him to a fight. Mickey says he doesn't want any part of it. Mick doesn't want any part of it. He knows that this guy is nothing but trouble. He reluctantly agrees to train Rocky for this last fight. Rocky has a fun training camp with cameras and people around. He doesn't train hard. Mick knows that he needs to focus on training. He'll never beat this guy. And so Mickey's very, very hard on him. And rightly so. Right before the fight happens, Clubber Lang comes down and sees Rocky getting ready to walk out to the ring, pushes him, pushes Mickey. Mickey ends up having a heart attack and is incapacitated in the dressing room. He tells Rocky to get out and perform anyways. Doesn't matter how badly hurt he might be. Rocky goes out, basically gets destroyed by Clubber Lang in 2 rounds, gets knocked out, comes back. Mickey is worse for wear, ends up dying right there on the table in the dressing room. Very emotional scene. Rocky cries, everybody cries. And Rocky, I think at this moment in time, is probably one of the lowest points you see him in any of the Rocky movies. He basically wants to give up on life, and he's pissed at everybody. And an unlikely guy comes to talk to him, and it's Apollo. Apollo tracks him down and finds out where he is, and basically convinces him to get back in the ring to avenge his loss and to avenge Mickey's death. For the most part, and to find himself again. And so he agrees to train with Apollo, and they go down to Harlem, I believe is where it is, like a place like Harlem. It's not, I don't know if it's Harlem, I can't remember exactly, but it's like Harlem, it's the ghetto, but this is where he trains, Apollo trains. And so Apollo trains him in the movie. During the movie, Rocky is dealing with a lot of demons still, and he's just not into fighting, really. He has a pretty cool emotional scene with Adrian, who helps him back to his feet pretty much, and then he goes into hardcore training, and then he has a rematch with Clubber Lang, and uses his boxing ability to outsmart the heavy-handed striker, and ends up beating Clubber Lang and knocking out Clubber Lang, retaining the title, and the end of the movie. Now, this is another one of my favorite Rocky movies. Rocky 4 pretty much is my favorite Rocky movie of all time, but this one's a very close second. I just love this movie. You have all the main characters. Everybody's in this movie. Burgess Meredith, of course. Talia Shire. Burt Young as Paulie, Stallone, obviously. You got Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed. Just great cast. They're all there. Great story. Another common tale in boxing. I like that, they draw from things that could really happen. I mean, there's boxers out there all the time. Mike Tyson was one of them. He was 38-0, knocking people out, didn't take one guy seriously and got knocked out. And unfortunately, he really never was the same again. He retained his titles later, but he never really was the same. But these things happen, and they run up against people like this all the time. So it's not unrealistic. Clubber Lang is almost he's almost like a larger-than-life character played by Mr. T, and just Mr. T does a great job. You can't see a better role for Mr. T. I mean, it's fun to watch him fight Rocky. It's a cool story. It's the last time you get to see Mickey alive. You see him in flashbacks and later movies, but it's the last time that he's alive. He dies in this movie. It's a very powerful scene. It's one of the most powerful scenes in all of Rocky. These movies, they make you love the characters. They make you love these people. These movies are so character driven. You care so much for these characters that when Mickey dies, you are sad. And same as when Apollo dies in Rocky IV. I can watch this movie 100 times and still be saddened every time I watch Mickey die. Superb acting by Sylvester Stallone in numerous parts of this movie. Apollo becomes the hero rather than the villain in this movie, which is cool. He trains Rocky, teaches him how to box, makes him pretty much a complete fighter in this movie. It's really, really fun to watch that storyline. I like Talia Shire maybe the most in any other Rocky. I like her in this movie a lot. I really liked her character and how she was really in tune with Rocky and knew how to help him, and had some really good scenes with him and dialogue when they're out on the beach and they're talking, and just a great scene. Rocky coming back and winning against Clubber Lang. It's a great. It shows they put a little thought into the boxing and stuff like that, and it was a little bit more of an intelligent approach, I thought, to the boxing scenes. Hulk Hogan also is in this movie, I forgot to mention. Rocky does a charity benefit and has like a one-on-one wrestling / boxing match with Hulk Hogan. That's a pretty cool scene in there. One of the most memorable scenes in any Rocky movie. So this is a great movie. There's a lot of stuff that happens, a lot of new starts and new things that you haven't seen in the first two Rockies, like Apollo becoming a hero and Mickey passing away. And it's just a cool movie. It was really well done. It's very fun, and that's probably why this Rocky is probably my second favorite movie. And I know people are going to say, what about Rocky 1 and 2? I love them, I do. But this one is probably my second favorite. I love this movie. And this was the first Rocky movie I ever saw. When I was a little kid, I saw this movie in the theater with my dad. So maybe that has some nostalgia for me there as well. But that was Rocky 3. Again, one of the greatest Rocky movies ever. Right up there with Rocky 4. So I'll see you guys real soon. See ya.